So this is the quick drying portion of the art of riding in the rain. If when you get to work you do not have a lot of space to leave wet gear to shake out and dry, then what you want is something that will dry quickly. In terms of quick drying, one of the first elements that you might be wanting to be aware of is to avoid a knapsack. When you're wearing a knapsack, the pressure on your shoulders will allow water to seep into your jacket and into your clothes. So as much as you can, you'll want something that will allow it to shed. So this is a knapsack that converts into a pannier. The pannier is much safer because the weight of whatever you're carrying is lower on the bike, so your center of gravity is lower. It's often, almost always in the back, so that's safer as well when you're stopping by creating a little bit more bulk at the back. And most often they come with some kind of protective layer that keeps the bag from getting wet. In terms of what you're wearing that's quick drying, again, I've recommended that you have a cycling jacket. So really what it comes down to is what's on your legs. That's the biggest area. I've got a few options here. A lot of times it's not all that cold. Depending on your ride, your legs might be warm, and surprisingly enough for the climate in Vancouver, wearing shorts or like bathing suit board shorts is actually quite useful. Those are quick drying. You can get pants that have been designed for cycling. These are increasingly available and they have a bit of a stretch to them and they will dry. So the way I'd say it is when you arrive, unless it's a monsoon, which is rarely that we get those kind of rains, that within the time it takes to have a cup of coffee, your pants will dry. They will dry based on your body heat. If you take them off, if you change when you get to work, say to put in scrubs, then hanging somewhere else, even if it's not a lot of ventilation, they will not dry as easily. It's the body heat that warms them up and they'll dry fast. The other thing is to look for clothes that you can double as cycling clothes. So these are pants these are dress pants that have a bit of stretch to them as well, and this makes them very easy to dry. These are not sold as cycling pants, but as you look around your purchases in future or your wardrobe, you'll find that things can work that way. That will dry quickly. I have a cover for the seat so the seat doesn't get wet. That saves your pants as well. And I have a chamois cloth. Use this to dry off your seat, to dry off the handlebars and the levers on your brakes and gear shifting. If you have gloves, and the gloves usually have a protective layer on the outside but not on the underside, if you touch those handlebars when they're wet, they'll be wet for the rest of the day. So having a chamois like this is a good idea to keep your handlebars dry and therefore your gloves dry. And also you might want to use this as well on the crossbar for when you stop at a red light. That way it doesn't get your pants as wet. Also when you're cycling, sometimes to wipe your glasses, if this is conveniently located in your pocket, then this is a useful item. One other element to keep in mind is that when your bike is wet, some bells don't work. So keep in mind that your bell needs to be tested when it's raining. This is the kind of bell where the mechanism is underneath this, and it is not about percussion on this. Some of the bells have a little spring that hit this. If this is wet, it won't ring. I don't know the physics behind it, but it won't. This one is underneath it, and this will ring in the rain.